Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast, exclusively for Komando community members. It's the weekend of May 20th, 23, and let's get started. Here's hour one.
All right, I always like to start each show with something really interesting. And I don't know if you heard, but OpenAI, they've released the official ChatGPT app. It's now available in the Apple App Store. But you have to be really careful. So when you start looking for the ChatGPT app in the Apple Store or even in the Play Store, is that there's just like these slew of apps that are just scammy, malware, badware you just want to stay away from. So you want to get the official app. Make sure that the developer is OpenAI. And you can look in the description. And in the description, it says in-app purchases will be $19.99 a month. Okay, that's when you know that you got the real McCoy. Again, the developer's OpenAI. That's the one that you want. So in case you're wondering, yes, no Android version quite yet. It's going to be a couple of weeks for that, they say. But wouldn't it be great when ChatGPT can actually interact with, say, Google and Apple's assistant? So you could just say, you know, the name of the assistant, which I don't want to say because it's going to just blow up all your devices. Say, ask GTP about this or that or whatever it may be. I just wonder, though, if you do this enough times, if our smart assistants are going to get jealous and they're going to say, you know what, you just go ask ChatGPT yourself. Okay, sounds like you don't even need me. Wouldn't that be something? And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's the largest show about all things digital, your most trusted source. I'm, of course, America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And if you're a new listener, hey, we're so glad that you found us. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. You can find the Kim Komando Show on over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for My Last Name Komando. And you can also find us as a webcast and also as a podcast commercial-free over at komando.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you just want to join the Komando community. It's just a few bucks a month, and you actually get a free 30-day trial. Once again, that's komando.com. And yes, I did say commercial-free, too. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members serving in 175 countries. And I love this. 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And just a quick reminder, if you're just too dang shy to come on a big-time show and podcast, I just want to remind you that you can drop me your questions over on our website. That's komando.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I visit at least 30 different websites and talk to industry insiders, and I read white papers and research papers. It's just nuts, just to make sure that we are both up to date on all things digital. And let's start with 5 things that you need to know about tech. And starting with number 1, more than 2/3 of all Americans, that's 60%, are really concerned that AI could put the future of all humanity at risk. And based upon what you're about to hear, they're right. And I will tell you that I am actually one of that 60% myself. You may have heard the name Sam Altman. He's the inventor of ChatGPT. And he told Congress that AI must be controlled by governments because it's rapidly evolving to the point where it has more information instantaneously available to it than any possible human could. Now, there are even predictions that using its own reasoning, AI could eventually consider itself a god, and write its own code of conduct, a Bible of sorts, for the human race. Now, before that can ever be allowed to happen, we must never lose sight of the fact that AI was built by humans to serve humans. It only knows what we ourselves tell it. And we all have to remember that God, however you perceive him, is more than just a bunch of electronic components just soldered to a motherboard. Coming in at number 2 on our list of 5 things is Temu is poo-poo. That's right. It took just 17 days for China-based shopping app Temu to just whiz past Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Shein in the App Store and just have the top downloads everywhere. Now, I warned you about Temu's security problems a few weeks ago, but now its sister app, Pinduoduo, was caught using malicious code to bypass cell phone security to spy on other apps, read notifications, messages, and even change your security settings. Oh, isn't that frightening? Now, shortly after this announcement about Pinduoduo, the U.S. government has accused Temu of data risks. No surprises there. The app requests 24 permissions from your device, access to your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, photos, videos, payment details, contact info. Yikes. So keep all this in mind before next time you're tempted to just go ahead and install Temu, because it's also your biometrics. If you're going to use it, I suggest you use it on an alternative device that's not connected to anything, including your Wi-Fi network. Coming in at number 3, for more than 27 years, a now very outdated law has shaped the Internet. You may have seen it out there. It's called Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act. It has serious implications. It protects the social media sites, the online platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and Twitter and all the rest from being held responsible for what their users post. Now, even if that content encourages terrorists. Now, I want you to compare this to me on a radio, your newspaper, your television. Okay, if we or they allow someone to publish something harmful, we could be taken to court and sued. But a lot has changed since 1996 when this law has been put into play, right? Well, the reason why I bring this up is that the Supreme Court handed over just a major win for social media companies. The court actually backed Google and Twitter when they were accused of social media liability in terrorist attacks that occurred overseas in 2017. Now, families lost their loved ones in an attack in Istanbul, and they say that YouTube recommended extremist terrorist videos to would-be terrorists. YouTube says it's not us, it's the algorithm. Twitter says, yeah, it's not us, it's the algorithm. So the bottom line here is that this has been a major win for social media. So I just want you to know that this is not the end of the game. We're probably going to be hearing a lot more about this in the next couple of weeks. Moving on to number 4, this is why you should never take naked pictures of yourself in intimate acts. Let's go over to Charleston, South Carolina for this one. It's where, after a long day at work, a woman logged into social media and she got a real shocker. She saw a pornographic photo of herself and her ex-boyfriend posted onto her work's Facebook business page. Yes, you heard me correctly. Where she worked, they had a Facebook page, and then there was a picture of her and her ex-boyfriend, doing what they did. It's called revenge porn. It's when a nude or sexual photo is posted online without consent, and this woman totally believes that her ex made the post under a fake name. Her 35-year-old ex, Zachariah Cooper, is charged with stalking, being held on a $250,000 bond. Just a friendly reminder, you run this sort of risk taking any kind of nude or sexual photo on your phone. If you don't want it posted on the internet, don't take a picture of it. It's that simple. And finally, let's go to number 5, some AI classes. That's right. There's a lot of buzzwords associated with AI. We're going to go through just a couple of them right here. But first, artificial intelligence. How do you define it? It's a machine that wants to think like a human, ChatGPT. What about training data? You start seeing this a lot. This is the stuff that an AI machine uses, and we're talking about anything that may be on the internet, any media, and so that this way it can up its game. Hallucinations. Hear that associated with AI? If you say to ChatGPT, the sky is cloudy today, and it comes back, no, it's brown. That's a hallucination. It's just a wrong. So if you ever hear anybody mention AI hallucinations, just know it's bad stuff. AGI, that's what we're all afraid of. Artificial General Intelligence. That's right. It's when AI machine goes beyond human capabilities. It becomes more knowledgeable. That's the frightening part. I mean, I can't wait for an AI to reach 10% of the capabilities of the average human, because maybe we could replace everybody in Congress with just a single AI. All right, coming up, we have signs that your security cam has been hacked. There's a super secret menu on your TV. And let's see. Oh my gosh, in just a few minutes, I'm going to be interviewing the founder, the inventor of the smart gun. You don't want to miss that, so stay right where you are here at the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you ever have any questions about something digital, just a quick reminder, you can send them to me over at the website, old school. I love this way, though. You go to komando.com. At the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. Now, if you haven't tried our new Komando 2.0 newsletters, you're going to love them. If you have the newsletters in the past, you say there were just too many, and I hated the clickbait and the colon cleanse ads. I heard you. It's all new and improved with just one ad, and I promise you it's not a colon cleanse. And so head over to getkim.com to sign up right now. 100% free. You're going to love them. That's getkim.com. So Kai Kupfer was a high school student back in 2012 when 24-year-old James Holmes, you may remember this, he walked into an Aurora, Colorado movie theater, and Holmes killed 12 and he injured 70 more people. Well, Kai's now 26, and he's about to ship what's called a smart gun. And here's the deal. PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel, he has this fellowship program, and he actually awarded Kai $100,000 for the idea of the smart gun, but he had to drop out of school to start this company. Well, that company, BioFire, has raised $30 million to date. Now, BioFire's smart gun, it comes with a dock equipped with a touchscreen, and then that pairs your face and your fingerprint to the gun. So the whole idea is that if it doesn't see your face, it doesn't see your fingerprint, the gun will not be activated. Now, the biometric data is actually stored only on the gun. Now, once the system detects an approved user's fingerprint or face, which I mentioned, and whichever one comes first, it quickly unlocks, and then it can be fired like just a regular handgun. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got just a million questions swirling around my head. And joining us here on the show right now is Kai himself to tell us all about the smart gun. And Kai, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Kim.
So I guess let's just start at the beginning. What exactly is the BioFire smart gun?
BioFire smart gun is basically a new kind of firearm, one that has a bunch of technology built into it to ensure that it's both always locked anytime that it's outside of the owner's control, as well as instantly accessible in the case that the owner needs to have access to that. And you actually gave a great intro. But basically the concept is, we use biometrics, both fingerprints and facial recognition, that run automatically as soon as you pick the firearm up. If you're the owner or someone that the owner has chosen to enroll into the firearm, then it unlocks and functions just like any other gun. But at the same time, it locks within a fraction of a second as soon as it leaves your control. And that's really the key part, right? That peace of mind, knowing that it's not going to be usable when it leaves your control.
So how many profiles can be attached to the gun?
You can have up to 5 active users at any time, and then you can have additional users stored that could be disabled and activated when you like.
So can you use the gun without any biometrics, or no? The whole idea is that that biometrics has to be implemented.
You have to use at least the fingerprint or the face. So if whatever reason you want to choose to not enroll one or the other, you could do that. But the sort of intent of the system is it's only active when one of the biometrics is presented.
We've all have those. Well, I shouldn't say we all. I know that I have one. One of those boxes that you put your firearm in, and then you have to have your fingerprint in order to open the box in order to get your firearm out of it. What inspired you to put those two technologies together?
Totally. The number one, so maybe going back a step, actually. I've been working on this for about 11 years, as you said, and throughout that time period, I've gotten the opportunity to talk to lots of other gun owners around, what are they looking for in a product like this? I think the fundamental premise of a firearm that only works exactly the way you want it to is quite straightforward and obvious. But the challenge is it needs to actually work exactly the way you want it to, which means it has to be unlocked anytime that you pick it up, and it needs to always be locked when it leaves your control. And that reliability piece is, I think, really the fundamental challenge here, right? That is the key part of building a viable smart gun. And that's really where BioFire has spent all of its time and its resources. And that really has been very much focused on that side. And a big portion of that goes to the biometrics themselves, right? Fingerprint and facial recognition are two very, very mature, well understood sort of commercial grade biometrics.
Sure.
But they both have their own strengths and weaknesses, right? Fingerprints, for example, they might not work as well, if you have wet or dirty hands. We got a lot of questions after our launch about, what if I was eating chicken wings and somebody, broke into my home? So we did a video like, hey, yeah, it works great when you have chicken wing grease on your fingers. And the reason that it does work great is because the facial recognition system has no impact on something like that. Similarly, let's say you're in like a nightstand drawer, which is probably one of the most common sort of use cases that we've heard from our customers. Your face is not going to be kind of in view behind that firearm for quite a while as you start to take it out of the drawer. It's only seconds, but seconds matter. Versus the fingerprints will work instantly, as soon as you have your hand around the grip. And so the two of them combined really are just substantially more reliable because either the fingerprint or the face can be used to unlock the gun than just one of it by itself.
I'm fascinated about how you were able to get that grant from Peter Thiel. Can you talk to that just a little bit? I mean, you were a young guy, but somehow you were able to figure all that out.
Yeah, so I had been working on sort of the concepts and technology around BioFire for quite a few years, actually even before the Thiel Fellowship. In fact, like during my time sort of during, going back to, started this my sophomore year of high school, and very much from an engineering technical perspective, like how could I apply my sort of interest and passion for engineering to this space. That turned rapidly into like a research project, after the science fair, backed by a variety of other sort of investors out of Silicon Valley. And then I actually spent some time at MIT as well, working on a double major in computer science and business. And that was really where I spent a lot of time working on more the business side of BioFire. Like, what would the product look like? Would we be manufacturing the entire firearm or just like building a device that would convert an existing firearm? All those sort of kind of fundamental questions. And so it was after all that work that I ended up applying for and receiving the Thiel Fellowship. As you mentioned, $100,000, dropped out of MIT to focus on building the company full time. And that's really where we started hiring people, focusing this full time, and we've been working on a production product ever since.
All right, Kai, it's clear that you've done just a ton of research and, wow, just so much hard work to bring the smart gun to market, and it's going to be here in the fourth quarter. Now, I have to tell you, I'm just so amazed, really, that you're only 26 years old. But here's the deal. We just need to take a break. Yeah, I know. I don't like it either. We have to play a few commercials because that's how we make money and that's how we pay the bills over here. But when we come back, Kai, I want to get into the nitty-gritty of the smart guns. I mean, I want you to tell us exactly how does this technology work? What specifically makes this gun super smart? And get this, we also have a few listener questions about your smart gun that I'd like you to answer right here with us. So we're going to get to all of that and more in just a minute or two. And then still to come, we have our digital privacy tip about security cams that are hacked and also a secret TV menu. We have more of your phone calls that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, if you're just joining us, wow, we've been talking to Kai Kepler. Kai is about to ship a smart gun, and he came up with this idea when he was actually a sophomore in high school. And his company, BioFire, has raised $30 million to date. He's got some funding from Peter Thiel. I mean, it's turned into a major operation. All right, Kai, let's just jump right back into this interview. I want to know, first of all, some more specifics about your smart gun. So the smart gun technology, it makes sure that only authorized people can operate the firearm. You mentioned the chicken wings. Are there situations where it wouldn't work?
It would ever encounter in a kind of like home defense environment or anything like that, including, let's say you live in Alaska in the middle of the winter and you need to step outside, or you live in Arizona in the middle of the summer, right? Our goal is we want to build a product that is going to be extremely reliable in any sort of home defense kind of style environment, right? Including if you just got out of the shower, including if you're eating chicken wings, right? You name it. And the reason why that's possible really is both the combination of those biometrics, as I was talking about, but also, really the engineering that has gone into this. Like you mentioned previously, we've raised about $30 million. Almost all that money has been spent on the actual engineering technical side of this, right? We've been able to build a really fantastic team of engineers here in Colorado, mostly folks coming from aerospace and defense industries that, have a lot of experience on how do you build a complicated piece of technology that has to work every single time. Because obviously, if a plane crashes, that's a really big deal. Your missile fails to go off, that's a really big deal. And so we've brought a lot of that experience, into the yes. team here at BioFire. And so there's lots and lots of small details and big details, even in certain cases, that we've solved to make this possible. The stakes are very high here, right? And that's something that I think that is needs to be reflected in our work.
I just have questions from various folks. Ronald Spilker from Glendale, Arizona. He wants to know, how well does each fingerprint and facial recognition work when the sensors are wet? And how are the finger sensors and facial recognition cameras protected from being damaged?
Great question. So Wet and sort of environmental conditions have basically no impact on the facial recognition system. Like there's no way for water or anything like that to collect on the lens, and we've done the work to make sure that that's not going to, one of the primary objectives actually of including the facial recognition system is to address exactly this question in terms of wet and dirty hands will impact the reliability of the fingerprint sensor. I would say like at a high level, if you just got out of the shower, right, maybe you're like a little damp or you're sweating, the fingerprint sensor will work fine. Similarly on the facial recognition system, like we use a really, really strong material on top of the facial recognition system to make sure that even if you drop it in gravel or anything like that, it's not going to impact the performance of the system.
Okay, next one from Michael Hirschberger in Cincinnati. What's the response time of facial recognition to engage before the gun will actually shoot?
Yep. So I would say our objective is, let's say the gun is on a table, a nightstand drawer, holster. It should be unlocked faster than you could possibly have it on target. And that's like our internal metric, which second to a second and a half. If you're really, really fast and have a lot of training, you can get a draw time of about a second in most cases. Most entry-level folks are more about 2 seconds. Our objective here, I would say on fingerprints, which is sort of the primary biometric, where we beat that every single time, right? Like anytime you pick it up, it's unlocked, sort of halfway through the process of picking it up. We have a couple good videos on our YouTube channel, like showing comparisons of, how fast can you get access to like one of those biometric gun safes versus how fast can you pick up our product. I'll say we win by a wide margin every single time. And so the goal is it should be the fastest safety mechanism out there.
Okay, 2 more questions. He says his name's Jimmy Dean. Not sure if that's real, but we'll just go with it. In Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay, this is kind of a strange question, Kai. Okay. Could a thief kill the smart gun owner, then cut off his hand or his fingers, freeze the appendage to preserve the prints, and then use that hand or fingerprints to activate the smart gun and use it to commit further crimes? Okay. Obviously, you haven't heard this one before, because I can tell by looking at your face.
More than you'd expect, I would say, and I definitely love the creativity.
Really?
I would say the short answer is it would be very, very challenging to do that, and certainly it's not something I would encourage people should be going around doing for a whole number of reasons. What I will say is, we, from a technical perspective, we use a kind of state-of-the-art anti-spoofing technology on both our fingerprint and facial recognition systems, which would make it very, very, very challenging to use dead body parts to present valid biometric factors. But if they do, it would be very unlikely that you'd be able to activate the smart gun with somebody's dead body parts.
Mm-hmm. Kai, how much is it? I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah, it's available for pre-order at smartgun.com. The price point is $14.99, and then we're asking for a $149 refundable deposit, right? So basically, again, we're getting a lot of demand, and there's quite a line, I would say, to get to actually take delivery. And so the deposit pretty much holds your spot in line. If for whatever reason you'd like to kind of change your mind, et cetera, you can always refund that, but you would lose your spot in line. I will say, like, we've already sold out our first kind of 2 editions and first couple batches of deliveries. And so definitely, if you're interested, I obviously encourage customers to put their deposits down as fast as they can.
Hey, Kai, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
Now, again, if anyone wants to check this out at home, the Biometric Smart Gun, the website is, of course, smartgun.com. And there you can get more information about the gun, get a closer look at the gun itself. You can customize it, build your very own. And also be sure to check out their YouTube channel, because there's just a ton of videos there. And once again, the website is smartgun.com. All right, I don't know if you heard the news, but a mom recently said a stranger hacked her Owlet Wi-Fi baby monitor to talk to her infant son at night. Well, here's the deal. The password has been leaked in a data breach, and there are tons of creepy tales like this. Maybe you start hearing some strange sounds or unfamiliar voices. Okay, that's a big red flag that somebody has hacked your webcam. Well, here are a couple of more. Your settings mysteriously get updated. Okay. These sneaky hackers are going to quietly change your security settings so you don't spot them. Maybe they'll change the name of the camera. Maybe they'll change your password. Next on the list, all of a sudden you're just starting to use way more data. You could have a security camera that just streams in the cloud, and that's where you want to start watching your data consumption closely. If you can ever set any type of alerts for overage, that's the place where you want to do this. And you can see if it's transferring a lot of data or you're not using it or nothing else has changed. And finally, another big red flag, the LED light is always on because so many of these security cameras, they have a small LED light that lets you know whether or not they're connected. Now, if the camera's light is blinking or flashing when it shouldn't be, yeah, that's not a good sign. That's why I love Simply Safe Cams. They have this shutter that covers the camera when you're not home. Now, if you feel like something's up, here's what you need to do. Password protect your Wi-Fi, or better yet, change the password. And also make sure that the username and the password are unique just to that camera too. Be sure to set up two-factor authentication and make sure that you have auto updates enabled so that this way your system is always on target and always up to date. And you're like, how do I do any of this? Oh, fear not, dear one. Head over to komando.com. That's komando.com. And there, the link that says Kim Show. We have all the steps right there, free for the taking. All right, still to come, there's a super secret menu on your TV you may not know about, and we have more of your great phone calls that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, before we go back to all of your great phone calls, if you were to take a guess, which country's residents are most addicted to their smartphones? And I'll tell you right now, it's not the United States. Okay, the serious screen addicts are in, drum roll please, South Africa. They spend 9.5 hours a day just looking at their smartphone. On the flip side, folks in Japan, a mere 4 hours a day. Americans, we're at 7.5 hours a day on our phone. The average person is awake, by the way, for 17 hours a day. So if you're finding that you're on your phone a little bit too much, what you want to do is take a look in your iPhone under Settings and Screen Time. And for Android, you're going to go to Settings and Digital Wellbeing, Parental Controls, and Dashboard. And that's where you can see how much time you're spending on your phone. You may be surprised. I actually looked at mine, and I thought it would have been higher, actually. 2 hours and 41 minutes a day for me over the last week. But that does not include me sitting on my MacBook or my iPad. Oh, that's bad. All right, back to the phone. Stephen in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hi, Kim. Hope you're doing well. I have a question that I think your readers and listeners around the world also have. I'm one of those people who hates to go to sleep. If I didn't have to go to sleep, I'd be watching movies, reading, writing, cooking, talking to my friends. But when I do finally hit the sack, I put my iPhone 14 on silent. Because I can hear it vibrate if someone tries to reach me in the middle of the night. But a couple of weeks ago, a couple of my friends, a husband and wife, were driving back from Atlanta to Columbia, about a 3-hour drive, and their car broke down at 2 o'clock in the morning. They were coming back from a wedding, and they called me to help rescue them, and I didn't hear the phone. So what I was trying to figure out is if your phone is on silent, is there a way to designate that a friend, a family member, a boss who's calling you, you can designate that it will actually ring for them, but nobody else.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
I haven't been able to find that information anywhere.
Well, you have come to the right place. So we're going to set you all up, Stephen.
Correctly.
Well, with your iPhone 14, you have a couple of ways to do this. Okay. Number one, if you haven't played around with the focus modes, there's sleep mode. And sleep mode is where we turned on automatically. Like I have mine turned on automatically at 10 p.m. and then it turns off at 6:30 a.m. Okay. And so between 10 and 6:30 a.m., I don't get any notifications about anything unless I want them to come through. And the only folks that I have coming through are my son and my sister and a few friends. Okay. So if you go into the focus mode under settings and then you go to sleep, it allows you to select which contacts and which apps that will be allowed through the not just sleep mode, focus mode, or work mode. They have all these different modes. So that's if you're using sleep mode. Now, if you're not doing that, if you're not going to be using sleep mode, but you still want your closest family members and friends to get through, is that you go open up their contacts for your two buddies there who were coming back from the wedding. And then if you scroll down under edit, you'll see ringtone, text tone, but then there's an option that says emergency bypass. Bingo, that's where you want it in. And so you're going to enable emergency bypass for a specific content. So you're telling your phone at that point, hey, don't pay attention to silent mode. Do not pay attention to do not disturb. Do not pay attention to focus mode, sleep mode, or whatever it is. Your iPhone's going to play that ringtone, text tone, whatever it is, even if your device is set to silent. So it's absolutely possible. It's wonderful. And I didn't tell my son that I had this set up, but he was texting me when he was going through finals at like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning of like cool cars that he found online. And I'm like, dude, stop that. Like, okay.
Well, this is great information.
So,
you may not think so, but I bet when people hear this, you will be responsible for saving lives in some way, shape, or form.
Oh.
Because who knows? My friends could have been on the side of the road and gotten hit by another vehicle because they couldn't get up with me to rescue them. So that's great information.
Well, you're awfully sweet, Stephen. And hang on the line. We're going to send you those exact steps so that this way you don't have to hunt around in that settings menu. But once again, it's under settings. Then you have focus mode, and that's where you can get into sleep mode and work mode and all those other modes. Or again, just select the content that you want and then hit edit and scroll down. And depending upon your iOS, you may not need to hit edit, as a matter of fact. But it's called emergency bypass. Stephen, thank you so much for your call today and also your kind words. That's very nice of you to say. Hey, by the way, if you're on Android, you have the same settings. That's what you want to do is get into that digital well-being settings on your Android. And then what you can do is set a bedtime reminder, customize wake-up alarms, silence the phone, make the screen grayscale, also turn off any apps, allow people to come through, and all kinds of good stuff like that. So if you're on iPhones, it's going to be sleep focus or focus mode, or again, that emergency bypass. And if you're on Android, just take a look inside that whole digital well-being section. Okay, so let's say you can't get your TV screen looking just perfectly. Well, I'm going to let you in on something. Most modern TVs, they have this secret service menu that allows you to tweak advanced features and settings. If you want to access it, first you have to turn on your TV, of course, and press the menu button on your remote. Then you go into settings or advanced settings. Now, the important part here is that you're going to press the following buttons on your remote in this exact order. Mute 182 power. Mute 182 power. That's going to bring up the so-called service menu. But you have to be super careful, okay? If you don't know what you're doing, don't do this because you could actually damage the TV. But you may be able to get further adjustments into the picture quality, calibrate the colors, maybe some different sound settings, advanced features that are just not in the regular settings menu. Keep in mind, your TV may not have it, so your mileage may vary. But if you're feeling adventurous, you can give it a shot. Again, those buttons are mute 182 power, mute 182 power. Now, if you love these short digital life hacks, things that you can use time and time again or to impress your family members and friends with great tech party tricks, make sure that you get my podcast. It's called the Daily Tech Update. Every single day, you get 2 1-minute podcasts, so 2 minutes a day. That's all it is. So you know what this is perfect for? When you're brushing your teeth. So every morning you can listen to the Daily Tech Update every single morning. And then you're going to get fresh tech news and tips. And then you're also going to get fresh breath. Oh my gosh. That is a double whammy and it's a winner. So wherever you get your podcasts, I want you to make sure that you get our Daily Tech Update. Just search for my last name, Komando, of course, with a K. And again, that's Komando with a K. Wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you get that Daily Tech Update. Hey, do me a solid and make sure you tell 3 friends about the Kim Komando Show and Kim Komando Today podcast because knowledge is power and you can find me at Komando.com. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim.
It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of May 20th, 2023. Thank you for listening and being a Komando community member. Here's hour 2.
All right, I always like to kick off each hour with something really fun. And do you have something, old technology, that you're like, oh, I wish I could have that back? For me, it was my Motorola Razr phone. And now for all of you Gen Zers and millennials, you may not be familiar with this technology. It's a little box that you clipped on your belt, and it just has this black and white screen. And it doesn't do much. It just shows you messages that people send you. You can't reply to the message at all. And when you get a message, this little black box that you normally put on your belt buckle or your pants or maybe just to a shirt pocket, is that it would vibrate. And then after it vibrated, it would go beep, 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 beep. Okay, what it's called, it was called a pager. A pager. Well, the reason why I bring this up, according to the Wall Street Journal, there's this really big, dedicated bunch of folks who refuse to let go of their pagers. Okay, take trauma surgeon Brittany Blankhead from Texas. She recalls the moment, she said, when she first got a pager in 2011, she's like, wow, I am in the big leagues of communication. Maybe she never heard of an iPhone? Not sure. Anyway, the country's leading paging company, bet you didn't know that existed, Spock, reports that there are still approximately 800,000 pagers in use across the United States. You know that sound, beep, beep, beep? I know. Kind of reminds you of maybe they had a pager on and they were really big, like they were backing up. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, okay. Anyway, on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's America's largest show about all things digital, your most trusted source. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app, and you can find us as a webcast, as a podcast, commercial-free, over at Komando.com, inside the Komando community. And a special shout-out goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. And you can always send me your questions, by the way, through the website, Komando.com. Upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I just look at and study all these different things on the web, at least 30 different websites. And so I can tell you about the top 5 things that you need to know. And coming in at number 1 right now is, how'd you like a free TV? A free TV? Yes. A startup from the co-founder of Pluto TV is giving out 500,000 free televisions. The 55-inch 4K models from the company called Telly, they have all the bells and whistles, but it's free, so what's the catch? Yes, you pay with your data. They have 4K HDR displays, not the best, but it's okay. Built-in 5-drive soundbar and a free 4K Android streaming stick, so you can control it all by just saying, hey, Telly. It has a camera in there, too, for your video calls. Now, here's the kicker. About a quarter of the second smaller screen that sits underneath the main screen, you're going to start seeing ads. And you cannot opt out of any of the tracking. Now, this is super interesting. Vizio made $1.4 million in gross profit selling TVs in the first quarter of this year. But listen to this. They made almost $74 million in profit by selling advertising and viewer data. Yeah, Vizio TVs are just there to sell them ads and sell your data. So this Telly TV is going to package up all your data and sell to who knows who for a free TV that's probably worth about $300. I'm going to say no to Telly. That's what I'm going to say. All right, coming in at number 2, some new updates from Google. Google's got a handy new tool for anyone who has a Gmail account. It's basically so many of us, right? In the next few weeks, Gmail is going to be rolling out a dark web report tool, and it's going to scan your email address to see if it's been leaked during a data breach and then let you know. By the way, if you don't have a Gmail account, you can do that right now. Just head over to the website, haveibeenpwned.com. And that's not all Google has unveiled for you Android phone owners. You now are going to get a bonus dash cam. This is super smart. The latest Android update from Google shows that you can soon be able to use your Android smartphone as a bona fide dash cam. It's going to start recording as soon as it connects to your car. Stop once when you turn it off. And it can run in the background for up to 24 hours. And something else, if you want to pop into another app, and it's still going to keep recording. So it's a great way. If you have an old phone just laying around, you might want to start dusting that bad boy off. Coming in at number 3, I just hate when companies do this. Pissy printer. Yes, HP printers. So when you buy a printer, you expect it to just print. But Hewlett-Packard has pulled a sneaky move. They've effectively bricked your printer if you're not using official pricey HP ink. Here's the deal. It's a new firmware update. HP has made it so you can't print with any ink cartridge that's not directly from Hewlett-Packard. Now, if you buy cheap ink cartridges elsewhere, I'm talking to you. You're buying them on Amazon or someplace else. You're just going to be out of luck. The average ink cartridge from HP is $40. Now, HP says, and I'm going to read this verbatim. HP says, third-party cartridges that use non-HP chips or circuitry can pose risks to the hardware performance, print quality, and security. Security? What? All right, so how does it know that you're using official HP ink? It's using something called a digital rights management system, and that's preventing these unauthorized inkjet cartridges from being used. So HP is saying, if you don't use our ink, it's going to be susceptible to hacking and malware. I mean, come on, just be honest. You want to start selling more ink, don't you? I've been thinking about this for a long time. Imagine this. When you run out of paper on your printer and then it gives you a beep or you get a notification or an error message, wouldn't it be great if the printer just said out loud, no sheet? That's right, no sheet. All right, number 4, moving on. I thought that was funny. Some new Apple products. Rumors are all over because the Worldwide Developer Conference just a few weeks away. And it seems like Apple's closely guarded secret called the Reality Pro is going to be becoming a reality. This is a VR-type headset that will show you email, text messages, directions, anything else you use your iPhone for in front of your eyes. It's going to be out in September. The price, come on, folks, we're talking about Apple. Not going to be cheap. $300? Nope. $800? Nope. $2,000? Nope. $3,000. Wow. Now, let me tell you, if this is just a rehash of Oculus or Google Glass, it's not going to be a slam dunk. Oh, by the way, another Apple announcement. In their iPhones, we're going to have something called live speech. So you can be able to record 15 minutes of audio, your voice, to record a digital copy of your voice for use in person or on the phone. I can see why this would be a great feature for some folks, but I just wonder how long it's going to take before scammers totally take advantage of it. And finally, this coming in at number 5, you can post a video to YouTube and retire if you know the numbers. Yes, like Mr. Beast, you don't have to have 20 million subscribers to cash in. Word out this past week that all you need is 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have viewers watch your video content for 4,000 hours. That's a lot of time, okay? 4,000 hours. Okay. So there are all different kinds of ads that you can do. But the bottom line here is that if you got a YouTube channel, if you have 1,000 subscribers, you're going to need like 4,000 hours of video to make any bank. And I'll tell you, those videos are really hard to make. I mean, but speaking of YouTube, I always love how all these young YouTubers are suddenly developing a love for classic rock. That's right. They just love classic rock. And they're always telling you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get it? Share, subscribe. If I could turn back time, maybe I would not have done that joke. Sorry. All right, coming up in just a few moments, we have our trivia question of the week and a special guest contestant. You don't want to miss that. We're also going to tell you how you can fast-track your travels with a new passport app. Oh, are your nudes safe in the cloud? And, of course, we have all of your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. If you haven't checked out our new free newsletters, do it right now while you're thinking about it. Head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Every single day you'll get tech news and security alerts. That's getkim.com. And how about we start with David in Decatur, Illinois.
I had originally did some online investing, and I have a fairly large chunk of money in there. And about 3 weeks ago, I got a text from a lawyer stating that he was a lawyer, which I didn't believe at the time. And he had wire transfer information, and he had said that in the text that he was contacted by the Consumer Fraud Protection Bureau, and that my account was red flagged due to money laundering, and that if I sent him information on the wire transfer and other information, that they would go over it, and if they thought they could retrieve 70% of my money, that they would take the case. It would be like $1,000 up front, and if they retrieved money, then it would be another $1,000, to which I didn't do, and I don't believe he is who he says he is.
Okay.
But when I got that text, I was like, okay, how does he have any of this wire transfer information? Because he had the bank, he had the amount. So I went to Coin One, and I went ahead and tried to log into my account. When it pulled up, it stated that due to abnormal activity, I was to contact customer service. So I went ahead, logged in, tried logging in, got a hold of customer service. They responded within 30 seconds. They asked me my phone number. I gave them my phone number, and about 10 seconds later, it showed service was temporarily down. Okay, I thought, okay, no big deal, I'll try later. Well, I kept trying, and it would not, I could not log in. I couldn't even get customer service. So I said, here recently they did an update to their app, and they gave me a link. So I re-downloaded the app, going through the link, and I was able to get customer service right away again. And I tried again. I said, can you please help me or whatever? Sure. What's your phone number? I gave my phone number. 10 seconds later, same thing again. Come to find out, I did this like 12 times on Sunday, and it got to the certain point to where, okay, I'm not giving you my phone number. I'm going to try to explain the situation of what's going on and try to fix this problem. Well, I know.
Okay.
For a fact,
well, you know what? Let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
Number one, how much did you invest?
Originally, it was a $500 wire transfer, and then the second time, it was a $20,000 wire transfer.
You got a lot of money in there.
I do. And this person that was helping me invest, she was guiding me, and I don't know if I trust her or not, but she has no account information. She has no passwords. I assumed that if my money was in Coin One, that everything would be fine. And
well, I'm not really. I've never used Coin One. Coin One is based in Korea.
Yep.
And supposedly in the United States, people who live in the United States, you're not allowed to participate in Coin One at all.
Really?
So that may be part of the problems that you have right now. You might want to try, and I don't know if this is going to work, is to request a new customer ID. You may need to have a Korean phone number to do that.
Oh, wow.
So this is a big mess. You're in a big mess. You are.
No, I know, for sure.
This is a really big mess.
Originally, like a year and a half ago, I downloaded like TD Ameritrade, I downloaded E-Trade, I downloaded Robinhood, and Coin One was also one of the ones that I downloaded in. And back then, I didn't invest in Coin One. I did the other ones. And here recently, when I ran across this person, they suggested, of course, they were Asian. They suggested using this Coin One app, and they were teaching me binary option trading, which she actually made me on 6 trades, made me $4,000. So I thought,
okay,
good deal.
This is a classic scam.
Okay,
because she was teaching you how to do it, and you were probably you gave her your account information. And then then you can't get into your account, and then a third party comes along out of nowhere and says, this is money laundering, and now you got to give us money to get your money back, and it's because everybody's all working against you. They are all in cahoots.
For sure.
It's called a pig butcher scam, and you're the pig, and they're going to butcher you, and they're going to steal all your money, which they've probably already done it. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that. Okay. You can report this as a crime to the FBI and the Internet Crime Complaint Center. They do read every complaint that comes along. I wish that I could come through the phone and say, here, I'm going to wave my magical digital goddess wand and get your $20,000 back. But you guys just got to know what you're dealing with when you start putting these apps on your phone and giving away tens of thousands of dollars. David, I don't want to leave you hanging. I'm going to ask our IT genius, John, to take a look at this, see if there's something that John can maybe lend a hand with to see what's going on. But, based upon everything that I know, I'd say that the 20 grand's gone. But we're going to put John on it. We do this from time to time. John is on our team. He's a great staffer. He knows a lot about a lot of things. And maybe there's something that he can lend a hand with. So, David, make sure that we have all your contact information. We'll reach out to you within the next week or so. Sorry. Oh, bad. 20 grand. Whew. Always tough to take phone calls like that, right? Just tough. All right. I got an email from a fashion photographer. Wanted to know how he could keep his wife's naked pictures safe in the cloud. Okay. Here's the deal. Is that I know Google Drive, iCloud, I know they're free, but they're definitely a no-go for very personal reasons. And here's the reason why. You're probably automatically signed in on all your devices. So what happens if your laptop or phone is stolen? That's why we recommend encrypting a zip file and storing it other places. We've got the steps on how to do that over on the website. That's komando.com. Hey, hang with me right now because our trivia question of the week is coming up and you don't want to miss it. Okay, sports fans, get your brain cells ready for an epic challenge with Commanding the Tech World Trivia. And as I keep saying, this is not bingo night. No. These are brain-busting questions. We're going to put your noggin to the test. Now, to add to the excitement, we always have a special guest ready to take on the challenge and compete for the ultimate grand prize. First of all, we have a Kim Komando Show fanny pack valued about $25-$30, somewhere around that price range. Actually, I think it's priceless. And then you're also going to get a free bag of Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend dog food. That's a value of $59.95. And joining us this week for Commanding the Tech World Trivia is Sarah in Arlington, Virginia. Hi there, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Great. What do you do there in Arlington?
Well, I'm a 17-year-old student, and I'm a Girl Scout.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a Boy Scout leader. That matters, but it was kind of a crazy thing. All right, so I'm sure you've heard about Amazon. So our question this week is about Amazon. And let me tell you, Sarah, there's this story about Jeff Bezos. Now, he's the founder of Amazon, and it involves his approach to customer service. So according to all these reports, whenever Jeff Bezos, now keep in mind, he's the founder of Amazon. This is a trillion-dollar company. And he had a unique way of addressing customer complaints or issues. So when customers would figure out how to send him an email directly, he would forward that message to the appropriate department head with just one single character response. So he didn't forward it, say, to the person who was in charge of the Amazon Echo devices and say, "Hi, Joe, please look into this and let me know." He just put one character. So was that character a question mark, a thumbs down emoji, an exclamation mark, or is it a $sign? Okay, so when customers sent Jeff Bezos a note, he would forward that to the appropriate department head. And did he put at the very top just one character? Was it a question mark, a thumbs down emoji, an exclamation mark, or was it a $sign? So, Sarah, what do you think that answer is?
That's a hard one, but I'm going to have to go with the emoji, the thumbs down emoji.
We're going to go with a thumbs down emoji. Okay, let's see what our judges say. Oh, Sarah. Okay, all right. So, well, I'm going to give you another shot. Okay, so it's not the thumbs down. So is it the question mark, the exclamation mark, or is it a dollar sign?
Okay. The dollar sign. Okay.
Oh, Sarah.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to try one more time for the big win. Okay, is it a question mark or is it an exclamation mark?
I'm going to go with the question mark.
Okay, let's see what the judges say. Yes! Sarah, you won! That's so great!
Third time's the charm.
It's okay. You know what? You won the big prize. That's all that matters. So rumor also has it when somebody would get a note from Jeff Bezos with just a question mark that they would freak out. They'd be like, oh my gosh. Because, it didn't say anything like, I know you're doing a great job. Just did a question mark, which I have to tell you, ever since I read that, I do the same thing with my staff. But a question mark means so much, Sarah. Like, what happened? What can we do to fix it? And you don't have to go through all that mumbo jumbo and try to just make it nice. Just put a question mark and move on. Which, speaking of, what did the police do when they wanted to interrogate Mark? What did they do when they wanted to interrogate Mark, Sarah? They question mark. Oh, that's a bad one, isn't it? I know. Sorry about that. Okay, Sarah, since you're the big winner, I know you have some questions for me, so how can I lend a hand?
Yes. So I'm a 17-year-old, and I'm working on my Girl Scouts award project, which is similar to the Eagle Scout Award. And my goal is to raise awareness about iron deficiency in athletes. It's a pretty common problem, especially among young female athletes, and it's something that I personally struggled with, but not many people are aware of what they can do about it. My project advisor is a doctor, and I've developed an infographic and an educational video to try to inform athletes, parents, and coaches about the issue. In addition to creating the content and sharing it, I also need to track metrics. So I plan to put my video on YouTube. But aside from that, I would like to also be able to store the video and infographic together in the cloud where they can be easily shared and where I can track views. Right now, they are currently both on Google Doc or Google Drive, but I can't track the metrics on a personal Google account. In the meantime, I may consider building a simple web page at some point, but that could take a while. So I basically need a quick way to share links in the content and track views in an affordable way.
All right. So we can do all of this, Sarah. We're going to make sure that you get that award too. And it really is a good cause that you're doing, because I think so many young women are suffering from iron deficiency and they have no clue. They're just like, oh, I'm tired, and it's more than you just being tired. There are things going on in your body. All right. So with YouTube, as you mentioned, you'll be able to track views, likes, comments, and everything else. And that allows you to have access to this whole YouTube analytics dashboard. Now, if you want to track the distribution of the infographic, believe it or not, it's not difficult to build a website. Just go over to like Wix or Weebly or even Squarespace. And basically you just pick a template and you could probably have a website up and running for, say, $10 a month, $15 a month in about an hour and a half. And you could put your logo there at the top, and then you could have the YouTube video and your infographic. And then that would give you a way to actually put Google Analytics on that page. And then if you have Google Analytics on the page, that allows you to track just about everything. I mean, where the visitors come from, how long they stay, what's their bounce rate, what do they click on. And then you can also put tracking URLs and UTMs on the infographic itself and any other type of materials that you want there. You could also, if you were just distributing this infographic on an email, you can also track it by using Bitly. That's Bitly, and Bitly will shorten down that URL or over at the web page. And if you just want to put it in an email, and then that would also be a way for you to track your links. Now, it doesn't give you all the nitty-gritty details that, say, YouTube or Google Analytics does, but it does give you just basic tracking. Now, one of the things that you can do, Sarah, is, and I encourage you to do this, is that you play the kid card.
Okay.
There are only times in life when you can play the kid card. When you hit about 22 or 3, you can no longer play that kid card because then everybody's like, oh, well, come on, like you're 24. You should like have your act together by now, right? So what I would do is I would write an email saying, I'm Sarah, and this is what I've found with iron deficiency. This is my Girl Scout Gold Award project. And I put together this handy-dandy infographic and in this YouTube video, and I would love for you to share it. And then I would drop that into the contact mailboxes for, say, all the, the digital mom blogs, right? Some athletic blogs. You know this audience better than I do because I'm not in the girls' iron deficiency world, but you are. So wherever you could drop that would be really amazing because, again, people want to help young people who are on a mission and they have passion and they're working towards some accomplishment, right? So that's where, when I say use the kid card, that's what I'm talking about. That's a good idea. And if they want a phone number for you, set up a Google Voice number. So this way you're not giving them out your cell. And I would even set up another Gmail account just for this campaign. So this way you're making sure that you're not giving out any of your personal stuff because you don't know if they're going to, I'll tell you, it's kind of weird, but you don't know what they're going to do with it. If they're going to publish it, then you don't want your cell phone number all over the internet. I mean, because some people make mistakes, right? So that's why I just want to make sure that you keep your privacy and everything all secure. Did all of this make sense?
It did, yes.
Okay.
I was considering using bit.ly, but my one issue with that would be if someone would go to my Google Drive and shares that link, you can't track the clicks.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's why you'd have to figure out. That's why I'm kind of pointing you back to that website because then you'd have that. Then you'd have that full Google Analytics experience, and you'd be able to put everything on there, and you can track all this. You can set all this tracking up, say on Wix, Weebly, or on Squarespace. And again, you're going to get views, unique visitors, engagement metrics. You're going to see where they came from, how long they stayed on the page, and all kinds of great details like that. So get that up and running. And then if you want me to take a look at it afterwards, just go ahead and shoot me a link, and I'm happy to give you my feedback. And you go, girl. Congratulations. I know you're going to get that Girl Scout Gold Award because you got it going on. All right. Let's talk about how you can find what you'd like to watch for free. Because I don't know if you've looked at your streaming service bills lately, but it's astronomical. The average person is underestimating their monthly bill by over $100 every single month. So if you want to get some free content, number one, you want to get an amplified, unamplified, or large outdoor antenna. So you can get those free HD channels. We're going to tell you exactly what each one is. We're also going to give you our recommendation starting around $29. Then you can use a special site to find out when your shows are actually on. It's really fantastic, and you can reach broadcast towers up to 250 miles away. The program is called Zap2It, and I don't want you to Google search that because you're probably going to end up at some spam site or malware, but just know we have all the links on how to use it, and you're really going to love this site if you've never tapped into it. And also these antennas that you can use to get free HD programming. Just head over to komando.com, that's KOMANDO.com, and there's a link that says Kim Show. All right, still to come, we have more of your great phone calls, as well as if you're going to be traveling internationally, I have an app that you need to get right now here on the Kim Komando Show. Dan in Plymouth, Wisconsin, glad to have you with us.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate what you're doing on the radio.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. How can I lend a hand?
So I'm wondering, in Google Maps, if you put a location in, Google usually gives you 3 choices on different routes to get to the location. And I'm wondering if there's an app that you could actually put the routes that you wanted to travel, and it would follow those directions.
Sure. What do you do for a living?
I'm in transportation.
So you are a truck driver, over the road driver? Is that it?
Yes, actually, it's specialized. We do a lot of oversized loads where each state you have to apply for the permits, and then they give you specific roads that you have to follow.
Oh, those are so cool. I was, this is probably a couple of years ago, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and they had the 51 freeway shut down outside of Phoenix, right inside Phoenix, rather, between Phoenix and Scottsdale. And they were transporting this 1929 GM Future bus. And I was like, it was astounding how they just shut down the whole freeway, and this guy's going right in the center with this massive, oversized load. So that's what you do?
Yes, not quite that big. That's really specialized, yes. When they're shutting down freeways because of the weight restrictions, yeah, that's really specialized. Not quite that big.
All right. Well, here's the deal, is that you're not going to be able to find this in Google Maps, as you know. There's a couple of programs that you can check out. One's called, and we'll send you links to these so you can see which one actually will work the best for you. There's Truck GPS Navigation, and that gives you clearance, local facility directions, weight restrictions, all that other good stuff, and allows you to actually say, this is the route that I want to be on. The same thing is another app called Truck Map, and there's another one called OptimaRoute, and that's $35 a month. So you might want to, maybe that might be out of the price budget. But there's definitely apps that are made just for your occupation. Again, there's called Truck GPS Navigation, Truck Map, and then another one called OptimaRoute. And hang on the line, Dan, because we'll send you links to all these so you can check them out. And thank you for your call. All right, when you go overseas, getting back into the United States can be a total hassle. You've got jet lag, currency exchanges, and those long, long lines at customs. You got to fill out those paper forms. Ugh. That's why you need to get Mobile Passport Control, or Mobile Passport for short. It's a free government app that lets you skip all those long lines at customs. That's right. You're going to love this. You can use it at over 30 airports and also 4 cruise ports in the United States. So how do you get it? Either in Google Play or Apple app. You want to download the Mobile Passport Control app. You just fill out all the profile information, and then when you land, you fill out the customs declaration and submit your form right there in the app. And then on the ground, you're going to follow the signs that say Mobile Passport Control Lane. You just show them what's going on with your phone and your passport, and then boom, you're done. That's it. You're going to love it. Again, it's called Mobile Passport Control. Again, it's good for airports as well as cruise ports. And if you love short tips like this, make sure that you get my daily tech update wherever you get your podcast, just 2 minutes a day. Great for when you're brushing your teeth. Every single morning you get fresh breath and fresh tech goodies. Again, that's the daily tech update. And don't forget, 24/7, you can always find me at Komando.com. And be sure to tell 3 friends about our show and podcast. Thank you for that.
You've got it. It's the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of May 20th, 2023. Thanks for listening. Here's hour 3.
I always like to kick off each show with something really fun. And moveover.com and .org, because Google just announced 8 new top-level domains that can be used for websites and email addresses. Okay, are you ready for them? .dad, .esq, .prof, .phd, .nexus, .foo, .zip, and .mov. Now, I can see uses for this, like a lawyer, doctor, professional, but .foo? F-O-O? I mean, think about this. Are you ready for the site? I pity the .foo. I pity the .foo. Okay. Oh, God. Sometimes I just crack myself up. Hey, listen, it's called The Kim Komando Show because I'm America's beloved digital goddess. You've tapped into the nation's largest, most trusted source for all things digital. You can find me on over 400 top radio stations across the United States, as well as you can find me as a podcast, as a webcast, 24/7, 3 months worth of archives, commercial-free, over inside the Komando community. That's right. And you just want to go to Komando.com and sign up for the community, just a few bucks a month. We have discounts for everybody, I swear. Seniors, military personnel, veterans, police, firemen, you name it, you're going to get a discount. Again, it's just a few bucks a month. And we're also streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando. And, of course, I'd like to say hello to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force who are listening to us on the American Forces Network Radio. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open at 1-888-825-5254 is the way to join us. All right, I check out 30 different websites every single day to bring you the top 5 things you need to know about tech. And coming in at number 1 is there are about 4,500 AM radio stations in the United States. Over 50 million people listen to AM radio. You know, it really is the home of talk radio, isn't it? And it's cost effective. According to so many sources, when you compare FM radio and other kinds of broadcasting, the equipment needed to build an AM radio station is a lot less expensive. And in smaller communities, that expense is the difference between local news or maybe none at all. But here's the problem. AM radio is facing being extinguished in cars. You heard me right. BMW, Ford, Mazda, Polestar, Rivian, Tesla, Volkswagen, and Volvo have already taken AM radios out of their EV vehicles. As a matter of fact, Ford says we don't care if they're EV or not. Gas-powered cars, you're not going to get an AM radio either. So Congress is pushing back. They want to make it illegal for automakers to banish AM radio from your cars. And there's another reason that AM radio is really good. Yes, it's good during emergencies when most states are distributing evacuation plans and instructions because other forms of communication might be disrupted. And AM radio is just reliable. So if you want to fight back, and I encourage that you do this right now, call your local congressman and tell them that AM radio is important to you. Just do that. Make that note. Do it either on their website, send them a note, call them, whatever it may be. Just tell them that you want to keep your AM radio. All right, moving along to number 2, let's talk about ChatGPT and also professors. At Texas A&M, a professor, Dr. Jared Mumm, he failed more than half his students for writing and using ChatGPT for their papers. The problem, most of them didn't. First mistake is he submitted 3 essays from each student into ChatGPT to test whether or not they used it to write the assignments. And then he says he put the students' work through 2 separate times, and they were both claimed by ChatGPT, and they received a 0. So Dr. Mumm says, you shall not pass, go. And he put their diplomas on hold. Second mistake, you mess with somebody's diploma, it's going to end up all over social media. And he actually ignored emails. He said, I don't grade AI. By the way, Texas A&M says it's investigating, and none of the students are barred from graduating. Moving in at number 3, let's talk about TSA. Airports in Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Detroit, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, Orlando, and a few more cities are now going to start using facial recognition to speed up security lines. Is it worth it? It depends who you ask. It's the name of the game when it comes to travel. The TSA says facial recognition tech is going to make the whole process more efficient. You insert your driver's license or passport into the card reader. Camera's going to compare your face to the one on your ID. Then the agent approves once the screen is done and you're on your way. Let me tell you, I travel all over Europe, and this is how it's done there. But here in the United States, we're saying, oh, what about the database? What if it gets breached? You know, it's going to be a prime target, of course, and hopefully they just, make sure that it's all locked down, super safe. But, also the TSA, on another note, just announced that they're banning erasers on flights. I don't know if you heard about this. They're banning erasers on flights, yes, because they're capable of math destruction. Oh, gosh, that's great. Number 4 on our list of 5 things, zippity-doo data. That's right. This guy out there by the name of Andrew Brandt. And he is a malware researcher. So he had an account with Microsoft, and so what he does is he puts a whole bunch of malware, malicious files into a zip folder, and then he locks it up with a password to keep it safe, and then he uploads it into the cloud to keep it even more safe. As it turns out, he says that Microsoft flagged all his zip files because they contain malware, which means what? Yes, that Microsoft is scanning your password-protected zip files that you are saving on SharePoint. So if you think that you are just going to be super sneaky about stuff, just know that the cloud services, they are probably checking out anything that you may have password protected in a zip file. Doesn't that make you feel warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? And finally, this coming in at number 5. This went down last weekend in Texas at the Low Tide City 2023. It's an esports whole competition. And one of the top games at this event is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, it's very competitive and it has a lot of trash talk. Well, during a top match, things got kind of crazy. They got heated. And there was this Super Smash Bro professional by the name of Meister. He was getting into it with his 15-year-old opponent by the name of Syrup. Maester, by the way, is a full-grown man. And he gave Syrup a fist bump and said, "You can't say it on the radio, stink." And I can't say that on the radio either. So people watching this, they got all upset. And then he decided to go to Twitter and actually trash talk the 15-year-old kid. And then guess what happened there? Syrup's mother, that's right, don't mess with the mama bear. And she fired back at Maester. Exact words were, "You're an adult." Basically, players like yourself have zero class and absolutely no sportsmanship. Even if you win, you're still a loser in every sense. Mom came to the rescue. Speaking of video games, I actually broke up with my video game console. Now it's my Xbox. And nothing personal. It was just time for a switch. All right. Your car is just a roving computer. I'm going to tell you how you can see all the data that your car is tracking about you. That's coming up in our tip this hour. And also we have more great phone calls that you never ever want to miss. And you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, if you have not checked out our new newsletters yet, you're so missing out, I'm telling you. And if you used to get the newsletters in the past, you said, I had too many newsletters, or it had too many bad ads, or it was just clickbait. I'm telling you, times have changed. It is 100% different, okay? There's no clickbait. There's just one ad, and everything that you need to read is right in the newsletter itself. So head over to getkim.com right now. That's getkim.com. And sign up for our free newsletters. You're going to love them. You can unsubscribe at any time. Just try it for a week, and I bet you're really going to dig them. Once again, that's over at getkim.com. All right, coming up, are you revealing too much with your username? And then we're going to talk about cars and computers, and later on, what you need to do with your laptop right now. But before we get to all of that, how about we start with Doreen in Washington, D.C.?
Hi, hello. I'm pleased to be talking to you. I am trying to find the best technology to get the word out to people who are facing dreaded cancer diagnosis. I had cancer, and I still have cancer, but there is a way of dealing with that, and I'm looking at posts that are very sad, and I think that it would be good for people to know that there is a way forward, and I would like to try and do that, and I wonder what the best technology is. I'm not a social media person, so I'm not familiar with that, although I've been using computers for a long time. I'm just not into social media, so I wondered if you could help me tell me what the best ideas would be for getting the word out, some way that I could involve people.
So Doreen, Doreen, you want to have I don't want to use the word positive, but you want to have an inspirational experience with what kind of cancer have you been diagnosed with?
I have stage 4 lung cancer, and it was diagnosed in 21, and 18 months later, I am doing amazingly well.
God bless.
So this is, something that we can look at and say that this is the future. This is what is happening. But it's hard for some people even to live with that. There are all sorts of stages, and
sure.
So there is something positive out there, and I wonder how we can how can I get out the word? How can I, in some way, deal with this?
Okay, a couple of ways. Let's talk about one way that doesn't involve social media, okay?
Okay.
Is that you could write a book about your experiences.
Right.
And when I say book, I don't mean a 200-page tome. I mean 20, 25 pages. Right. And that's reasonable to write. And you could structure it so, this is who I am. This is what I was diagnosed with. I understand that sinking feeling in your chest when they said the C word. And it doesn't mean imminent death anymore. And here are ways that you can get yourself out of bed in the morning, deal with chemotherapy better, start eating carrots, depend upon your faith. So, and it's a very difficult journey, Doreen. Not the same thing, but I will tell you that I was my mother's caregiver. My mother lived with me for, almost 30 years after I left home, okay, to go to college. And she's a vibrant woman. And I took her to the Mayo Clinic for some tests, and they said, oh, by the way, she has pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Mm-hmm. And the guys at the Mayo Clinic said, you should take her home to do her bucket list. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you on her bucket list. I'm her best friend. And because she's been to 120 different countries, she's one of the inventors of the Unix operating system, the video phone. She has 4 kids, 10 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grand, lives a wonderful life. And so I took it upon myself, Doreen, to say, I'm going to save my mother's life. You can't save somebody's life from pancreatic cancer, but she did live almost 5 years after that.
And she lived with a quality of life, from what you're saying.
Yes, she did. She did. She did. She had, I threw her a big 80th birthday bash, and she was from Brooklyn, and we had everybody there, and she was FaceTiming every day, and she was traveling with me, and took her to Vegas and took her to Hawaii, just all these different places. So I understand what you're saying. And I like to tell people that story because many people have the same response that you just said, Doreen. When I said pancreatic cancer, everybody goes, oh, yeah. Right, because it is, 2-3 months. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. But she had a different type of pancreatic cancer, which I don't want to get into. But it was on her tumor. The tumor was on her pancreas. It was wrapped around her hepatic artery, and it was bad. But here nor there. So you can write a book, and if you don't want to make money at it, just put it out there for free. Put it up on Amazon for free, okay? And because you don't know who you're going to help. If you want to say, listen, I want to get paid for my time, put it up there for $4.99.
Right.
And what you can do is you can write this book, and then what you can do is get on a platform called like Fiverr, and then you can have somebody copy edit it. You can have somebody do the pictures in it, do the layout, and then you just upload it to Amazon, and then you make a piece of the action, whatever it is. The social media platforms, that takes some time because you got to get Facebook, Instagram, Twitter going. Then you got to use the right hashtags, like lung cancer awareness, lung cancer support. Then you got to maybe collaborate with some nonprofits, some healthcare professionals, or other organizations, maybe, the Cancer Society.
Right.
If this is your personal mission, Doreen, what I want to do is I want to send you some links on how you can write your own story. You can write your own ebook, and then it can be up there. And again, you don't know who it's going to help. But when people are diagnosed with a life-threatening illness, they start doing research. And that includes picking up their Kindle and looking at some ebooks. So again, I'm going to send you some information. Now, if you have any questions along the way, any question whatsoever, I want you to email me. I'm going to give you my personal email address, and then we can take this to the next level. And Doreen, thank you for your call, and I'm humbled that you chose me to help you out with this project. All right. We all know we need a good online password. Yeah, we hate them. Setting up 2-factor authentication. Yeah, that's important too. When's the last time you actually looked at your username? I see so many people that use maybe their last name with a zip code, and that tells people like where you live. Come on, don't be doing that. And maybe your username is connecting to your password. So maybe your username is Twinkle Twinkle, and then your password like, oh, I'm going to be super clever. I'm going to make my password Little Star. Okay. Or you use the same name on all the different platforms. That's also a big no-no. I know it's a total pain in the neck. I get that. But you want to pay attention to those usernames as well as those annoying passwords. Someday they will be gone soon. They will, I promise. Hey, stay right where you are. Allie's going to be joining us about some classes you can take at Harvard for free that you don't want to miss. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, your car is just a big roving computer on wheels. Well, there is a way that you can find out what the manufacturer of your car is tracking about you. Yes, and you can do it for free. I'm going to tell you about that. And also, if you have a laptop, whether it's Windows or Mac or Chromebook, you need to do one thing right now. I'm going to tell you more about that. And joining us right now is our amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Ali.
Hi, Kim.
Glad to have you with us. Now, I don't know if I've ever told you a story that I actually took a class at Harvard and a class at MIT. Did I ever tell you that?
You didn't. What were they?
No. Well, I was working for AT&T, and they were trying to fast-track me into being the youngest female branch manager. Okay. And so they sent me over a summer to take these classes. And I thought it was really cool. I mean, because, in the morning, I would go for runs along the Charles River, and it was really kind of great to be like in an Ivy League. It's just like this whole different vibe, because the ASU is just like this whole different thing.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, sometimes the MIT or the Harvard rowing team would be out there rowing, and then, they put me in the boat a couple of times. And so I was just having like this great time. And then going to class and getting paid, and it was just a really fun summer. But there was one thing that I'll never forget, is that there was a flasher.
Oh, no.
Right along the Charles River. Okay. And when I'd go for a run, he'd stand there, honestly, with like shoes and a raincoat on. And I was running, he'd open up his raincoat. And I'd be like, oh, not you again.
Did it make you run faster?
Well, one time, after like 6 or 7 times that he flashed me, I just looked at him and I said, you are an embarrassment to yourself, okay? Go someplace else.
Did he stop?
Or go home. I never saw him again.
You shamed him out of it. Good for you, Kim.
I guess. And I started thinking about it. Like, do flashers, do they have like nightmares? I mean, in dreams. When they leave the house, they suddenly realize that they have their pants on. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh.
Have you had that dream that I never have had the, oh no, I'm in class and I don't have clothes on, but I definitely have the, I'm in high school or college and I'm about to take a test for a class I never went to. Ooh.
Or I have one that I'm getting ready to do the show and I didn't realize it was show day.
That's the same dream, totally.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so Harvard, MIT, I went for free because AT&T foot the bill, but what I think is really good, we were talking about this, is that, you can take classes at Harvard for free, which is amazing.
So cool, right? Everybody can take them for free. They are online classes. And this isn't just like, a 2-hour little course and it's over. We're talking like full-fledged 6 to 14-week classes. So if you really want to learn about something, there are some cool places that you can do it online. One caveat here, like I said, most are free. You can make an account at edX or Coursera for free. If you want to do one of the professional certifications, if you want to do something where you need to prove that you took it, you are going to have to pay for that. And depending on what you do, it might be a few $100, but for the most part, you can take all these for free. And isn't that cool?
Wow, that is something.
I know. If you are somebody who wants to know more about tech, maybe you are the nerdiest Kim Komando listener and you're like, you know what? It's time for me to level up. There's Intro to Computer Science, Intro to Cybersecurity, pretty cool. Intro to Artificial Intelligence. There are data science classes where you can learn how to use AI better or even create AI stuff, which is pretty awesome. That might lead to, maybe AI is going to take my job. Maybe.
Yes, right.
So maybe you need to learn something new. Coursera especially has a lot of these essentially professional certifications where it's like going back to school for a few semesters, which is really awesome. Some of these take a good long while. There's an IBM data engineering professional certificate. It takes 7 months. This is like a full-fledged program, but it prepares you to be a data engineer. It's 13 different classes.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
How much is it?
They charge. They just charge $59 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really great.
It really is amazing.
That's good stuff.
There are ones for Google IT support if you're in the tech world. You can even get a bookkeeping certificate so that you are prepared for an entry-level bookkeeping job. So there are so many things you can try on here. And if you just want to do it for fun, there are a lot of fun classes too. Some of our favorites are on edX. There is backyard meteorology for all you aspiring weather people. If you're always the person looking at, AccuWeather on your phone. What about if you wanted to be a lawyer or you find yourself always having to look at contracts for maybe your small business? There's a contract law class, which is really cool. Help you set up everything from your will to a trust, anything for work. This class is cool. The Science of Happiness. we could all be a little happier, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I need to be. I don't know if I get any more happier. I mean, it's. I mean,
Happy overload?
Ian looks at me. He's like, "Why are you always happy? Why?" I'm like, "I'm just always happy. I just can't help it."
You are a happy person.
Big old smile on my face all the time.
If you're the person always addicted to the news, maybe it's bumming you out, turn that off. You can take U.S. Public Policy, which is Social, Economic, and Foreign Policies. That's a fun one to learn. And one that I am certainly going to take, and I'm not joking, Intro to Sauerkraut. No, it's called Food Fermentation. I really want to learn to make sauerkraut, but I don't want to give all my loved ones botulism or something. So I think I'm going to do it this summer.
That would be bad. Did you ever think that those words would ever come out of your mouth?
No.
I want to learn how to make sauerkraut. Okay. I mean, it's like, hey, how you doing on that air fryer?
I use it constantly.
All right,
Yeah.
do you?
Air fryer's the best.
Well,
if you don't have an air fryer, get to it.
Well, see, here's the deal, folks, is that, I was the air fryer queen.
Yep.
And then I'm like, every time we're Zooming or Google Meet, I'm like, you know what? Oh, I just made this on the... So then I'm like, Allie needs an air fryer. So I sent you an air fryer just so you can join the revolution.
It was such a nice surprise.
They are really something.
Oh, they are.
All right. So here's the deal. We're going to have all of this posted over on the website,
Yep,
right?
we'll have links to all these classes and even more. So head over. You can take the classes if you want to. If you find anything that you're like, Allie, you missed this class and this is the coolest thing on Coursera, let us know because I would love to see it.
Absolutely. Allie, great job as always. And yes, I think I'm going to take that introduction to sauerkraut class. That would be something else. All right, let's think about that new car that you have. The average car nowadays has about 1,400 computer chips on the inside. Isn't that something? When I say that, I think of my 1946 Chevy truck, which has nothing but 4 on the floor. That's it in a dirty old AM radio that I probably should replace someday. But anyway, because your car is connected, it can also collect a lot of data, a lot of personal information about you. Because I want you to think of your car as not just a car anymore. It's more like your phone, your computer, or your tablet. So what kind of data is your vehicle collecting? Well, I found a tremendous website that you're going to love. It's called the Vehicle Privacy Report. And it's all from a company that has one purpose. And they make their money by deleting synced personal data from used cars before they're resold. And this is how car makers comply with privacy laws. So that's how this all comes about. Well, there is a way that you can tap into their work. You want to go to this website, privacyforcars.com. That's privacyforcars.com. And when you're there, you just type in your car's VIN, and then the tool just spits out the privacy policies about your car and also your personal data. So what can you find out here? Well, a lot of details, like your name, your home address, your email address, your driver's license number, location data that shows where you are, where you went, maybe some biometrics, especially if you're using your fingerprint in order to sign into your car, voice recordings. Again, that site is privacyforcars.com. Once again, privacyforcars.com. And if you want to know more information about this, we have a whole article posted over at Komando.com that walks you through using it step by step. So head over to Komando.com and just search for, Vehicle Privacy Report or Privacy for Cars, and that's going to pop up for you. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls and also a step that you need to take with your laptop now before something bad happens here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, I have a podcast called The Daily Tech Update. I just want to talk to you for just a few seconds about this. Every single day, I record 2 things just for you. One is a top news story of the day, and then the other one is what we like to call in-house a DLH, a digital life hack. This is a tip. Maybe it's like that privacy for cars tip or something like that. And each totaled 1 minute. So if you have 2 of them, you have 2 minutes a day. So start thinking about what you could be doing for 2 minutes a day that will make a difference in your health and also in your tech life. Yes, brushing your teeth. Every single morning when you brush your teeth, you should be listening to my Daily Tech Update because, again, then you'll get the top news story of the day, you'll be prepared, and a life hack that you can use time and time again on your devices. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K, that's Komando, of course, and then you want to make sure that you subscribe or follow to our Daily Tech Update. And then, again, 7 days a week, you're going to get a top news story and a digital life hack. So you're brushing your teeth, you're getting fresh breath, and you're getting fresh digital know-how. All right, back to the phones we go with Scott in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, I actually inquired about this. They didn't approach me, but I was actually looking into to school. And the way they advertise it is online courses and software testing and quality assurance. Basically, you go through new software and you're looking to find any bugs, anything that don't work just right, and all you do is make a report on it. And this is a school to train you in this. Charge about $4,500 for a course that lasts about, I think, 12 weeks. And then there's advanced courses that teaches you how to fix those bugs and so forth. And they promise to, within a year, they'll help you get a job and et cetera. I'm wondering if it's legit.
Well, it's really hard to say because there are so many outfits like this that are on the internet, and they claim that they can guarantee you a job. I'd be very careful of that. Making six figures doing quality assurance for the first year on the job, I don't know if I really believe that. That's not something that I've ever seen in my career in the tech industry. Normally it starts out in, say 60, 70, because you don't really know much about software assurance unless you're really on the job. I mean, you're really doing this.
Right.
What I would recommend before you go spend $5,000 on this course is I'd look at taking some classes, number one, to see if this is something that you want to do. And you can find classes at Coursera, YouTube on quality assurance, software testing, things like that. The whole idea is that, you're going in this blind. You've never done this before. You don't know if what they're telling you is legit. It's not legit. Or maybe it is, and I'm sure they've got tons of testimonials on the page. And then if you look at reviews online, maybe you see a lot of 4-star, 3-star, or maybe a smidging of 5-star reviews, because these sites are so sweet that they can manipulate a lot of these reviews. Not saying that this is the case with yours. That's why I didn't ask you what the name of it, what it is. But I just know that $5,000 for this 12 weeks, whatever it was, I think that's a lot of money for a class. So if this is something that you want to do, look at classes. And then also there are open source projects that you can actually be a Q&A person for. Not Q&A, quality assurance person for, rather. And this way you can build a resume. There are freelancing sites that you can do to test things. It's really hard to take an online class for something like this. I'd like to see, you're in a big town, Atlanta. I'd like to see if there was a small to medium large size company where you could go in there on an entry level position and get real world training that you could put on your resume, and not something that happened on the internet, because things change so quickly. And especially, I'll tell you, QA engineers, that whole job's changing right now too. It's going to be all upended because of ChatGPT and AI. So a lot of this stuff can be done by AI. It doesn't need to be done by an actual human being. So as far as banking on a career that's going to be around in 5 to 10 years, I'm not sure if I would invest heavily in being a QA engineer unless it had something to do with artificial intelligence and maybe being prompt engineers or something like that. So try to keep that in mind. Take a look at some classes, and if you need any help afterwards, I'm always here for you. But I'll tell you, if you're looking for some type of trade like this online, taking classes, you definitely ought to check out what Allie and I were just talking about with these classes over at edX and Harvard and Coursera, because you know that these courses are from established institutions. And that's always my fear, especially because, we had that whole scam happening with the U.S. Postal Service. I don't know if you remember. I told you about that a couple of weeks ago, where people are saying, I want a good Postal Service job. And they went over to a scammy website that sold them a bill of goods and promised that they would get a guaranteed job, which they didn't get. And by the way, it's illegal for you to advertise that you're going to help somebody get a good government job, by the way. So, education is important, but so is experience. And so whatever you're looking forward to doing in your next career or trying to get ready to do, just keep in mind that you never want to do it for the money. You want to do it because you're passionate about it, because then you're going to be really, truly great at it. Okay, your laptop is more than just a device. It's the keys to your entire life, right? You have your work, your finances, even your inner thoughts are just a tap or click away. So what happens if that laptop gets stolen? Well, your confidential information is no longer yours. Some slimy thief or scammer could have access to it. But there are things that you can do to protect yourself. Now, Apple laptops are great. They have Find My built in. And this way you can sign into your iCloud account and then remotely wipe the drive. You can locate the drive. But the bottom line here is that you need to set it up right now before you need it. Now, if you're using Windows or an Android-based laptop, you want to be sure to install tracking and remote wipe software. So this way, you can easily locate that lost device and then wipe it clean of all personal information, even if it's stolen. So a great option for you is called Prey. That's Prey. It's totally free up to 3 devices, and it has a lot of great features. Like it has tracking features, remote wipe features, and again, it's spelled Prey, Prey. And if you're on an Apple device, you want to set up Find My. Now, if you're not sure how to do any of that, just know we have all the steps that you need over at Komando.com. Just say set up laptop in case it gets stolen. It will pop up. And don't forget 24/7, you can always find me on the website. That's Komando.com, Komando.com.